Welcome to another episode of Bargain Saturdays, and this week I decided to return to Skydancers Volume 1, Flights of Fancy. And I have to admit, this episode, The Last Dance, is a definitive example for why you shouldn't do certain stories in a single 20-minute episode. Because you gotta tack on, that intro and outro song on there, so we don't have that much time to tell this character's story. And they decide, we're going to have him, get introduced as a villain, show that case how powerful he is. He's a shapeshifter. He can potentially copy the powers of those he shapeshifts into. He's smarter than, our main villain, Sky Clone, who, is just a generally evil bad guy, but he's not very competent, like he's constantly failing, every episode. So he can't be really that smart. He's not really the true evil genius type, At least it feels that way, despite him using, evil science to try and win.
Defend your master!
But by the end of this episode, Glorp switches from being evil to being good and riding off into the sunset, to find out how he can learn to love himself for himself. Because apparently he enters this episode just hating himself because he's like, I don't have a true shape, I don't have a true form, How can I love myself when I can only be other people and other things, I mean, I can get, the mental mindset there, but they don't spend any time, exploring that aspect of his character, really. It's just mentioned near the end of the episode, and he loses all heart for villainy because, he falls in love with one of the Skydancers, Camille. And he only meets her, for 10 seconds, and he just loses all willingness to kill her, right then and there, basically, because he's like, I'm in love, I can't strike her down. I can't make her wear, one of my rings of nothingness, which will turn her into vapor. I don't have it in me. As the villain puts it, he failed
Test of slime!
Because as soon as word starts getting around that, there's a shapeshifter out there, all the other Skydancers are going to be on guard for you, and you will fail utterly. And he's not wrong, because as soon as they catch wind, his plans all fall apart. But the fact that he refuses to kill Camille when he had the chance to do it showcases the problem. This guy doesn't have the backbone to be a villain, apparently. He's just not properly committed, which I'm okay with, but this is a character that should have went through a story arc working his way to that conclusion instead of what we get. This should have been a multi-parter. This shouldn't be, a one-and-done character for just one episode, but that's what we get. Glorp's in one episode, and that's it. That's all he gets in the 26-episode series. He never returns. This is a character who can be a powerful ally for either the forces of good or evil, because he can shapeshift into other beings and sneak around and get information that'd be very useful for either side. He has all this power and ability, and they're like, nope, we gotta just chuck him to the side, and forget about him. Then why did you even introduce him? This episode is not gonna do him justice. You can't get me to care about a relationship, that was caused by a less than 10-second meeting.
These Skydancers are no different from anyone else. It will be child's play fooling them into wearing the rings of nothingness. And yet see how she looks at me so trusting, so sweetly. How can I bring her harm?
I shouldn't have come.
No, wait, don't go.
And make it feel like it's super meaningful. These are now star-crossed lovers, and I should feel deeply attached to, how bad their relationship went, and be sad for them, This, there's just not enough build-up on this relationship. This needed to be, multiple episodes. Introducing him and how powerful he is, having him, start to work his way into, the good graces of the good guys, then have him start trying to, pick some of them off and fail at for one reason or another, either because, Sky Clone, ruined his plan or interrupted him when he's doing what he's doing. Someone finds out about his shape-shifting, and by that point, he's fallen in love with Camille through the dancing with her, and he just can't go through with it anymore. and ends the episode, ends with him running off in the sunset, saying he's given up evil, or something like it should have been something like that. You can't condense this entire plot line down into the 20 minutes they had and do it well. And that's probably one of the problems with this series. It tries to cover a lot of ground in its 20-minute episode, and it just doesn't have enough time to do what it's trying to do. It'd be hard enough to tell this guy's story in a movie, much less the time span they had. Till next time, then. See ya.
All right. You want to see the D?